Time to head off the long journey. Say hello, Joanna. Yes, I'm recording. This is very discreet. I think you can walk around and no one notices that you're making them. And this is Bogota. You used to be able to see the mountains, but the building everywhere. Yeah, the building everywhere, absolutely everywhere. See, cooking in the streets, fantastic. Not usually fantastic for me because I'm vegetarian, but I used to always love it when I was travelling. And this is one of the things you'll see about Bogota. This is actually a quiet day, but normally this is ram-packed with traffic. Who do you think? Perdomo or Madalena? The pollution is everywhere. Crossing the street is always entertaining. I've left one. Okay. Let's move along. So here we are. We're just about to go and get the bus. This is called the Transmillennial system. And it's Sunday, so it's not too busy, but normally these things are crazy and you're packed in like battery chickens, but hopefully it's not too bad today. See, there's one there. Big long bus. Now I'm recording this without the case, but obviously if I was using the waterproof case, the audio would be a little bit more muffled. So you can probably hear everything just now. Hopefully you can hear me, but you probably hear all the traffic that's everywhere. So I think this journey is going to be about 45 minutes, and then we've got another 45 minutes to an hour to Sopo. And yeah, better switch to them. Bye bye.
everyone, and we're now in the North of Bogota. It took us an hour to get here, and I'm starting to appreciate how good it is that I've picked the small version of this camera, because before, last night when I got home, I was thinking I wish I bought the other one because I didn't have to use the watch. But once you've actually got it on the recording mode that you want, which for me is like, I think I've picked 60p and 1080p, 1080p and 60 frames per second. I think once you've got it on that, you don't really need to use the watch that much, and it's easier having the smaller camera. So you can see here we're in the bus station still, and it's going to be, so I think it was half an hour walk to the bus station, and then it's about an hour travelling, and then we've got another 40 minutes, 45 minutes. But at the end of it, we've got a nice lunch, so looking forward to going, because we're going to a place called Sopo where we lived for 6 or 7 months 3 years ago. So it's going to be good to go back. Not been back for 2 years, so really pleased with the camera so far. Here we are in Sopo. As I was saying earlier, we lived here for 6 or 7 months. 6 or 7 months, I'm talking Spanish now. 6 or 7 months. Spanglish. I'm talking Spanglish. Lived here for 6 or 7 months. It's one of the nicest places I've been to in Colombia. I love it here. But unfortunately the rain's just come on, so we're going to go inside and we're going to eat. So
show around, show the mountain.
I don't know if you can see the mountains, can I?
Oh, show the
yeah,
church.
The church. So here we are. We've been in Sopo for the last 3 or 4 hours, which is still a bit strange for me because I lived here for so long, a couple of years ago. We had lunch, and then we had about 4 or 5 beers, so we all come out for a walk because we're so bloody tired. But if you look around here, I mean, a lot of the time when you look in Colombia, you look at the crazy pollution and the crazy traffic in Bogota, but if you look about here, you can see how beautiful it is. It's an amazing little town, and I get a funny look off the security guard there. And yeah, it's a fantastic place to live, so I'll try and take another few clips before we go home, probably in the bus or towards the end of the day. But yeah, this is where I lived for 6 or 7 months 3 years ago, so it's a great little place. If you ever come to Colombia, I recommend coming here. It's called Sopo. Ciao, ciao. I'm sure you can't see me, but we're heading back to Bogota now. It's been a long day, we've had lots of food, lots of beers, and I just wanted to show you what it's like in low light conditions and noisy conditions. But you should see me a little bit when we pass through streets, like through city centres, but by and large you shouldn't see much because it's pitch black in here. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the footage is like, but I'm impressed with the camera so far, how portable it is, and last night I was a little bit disappointed. I kept thinking I've bought the wrong one, I should have got the other one, but I'm starting to think, no, I quite like how this works, you know, because I think most of the time I don't need to use photos. I can actually change most of the settings, I think all of the settings through my phone, so I don't actually need this that much. And most of the time I'm just going to keep on movie recording mode in 1080p anyway, so it's not a problem. I'll look at the clips when I get home and I'll do a quick overview of how I feel about it, but as you can see, when it's low light it's probably not too good, but there is literally no light in here, so it's hard to criticise that. I'm not lighting anything. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll do a quick wrap up soon. Thanks.
So the clips you just saw there were taken 4 days ago. And over the last few days I've been looking at what the camera can do, what the live view remote kit can do, and what it can't do. Now the AZ is smaller, so because of that it has a smaller battery life than the AS100V. It also lost the external microphone port and the HDMI out. Another sacrifice they made was the LCD panel shrunk to a little tiny square that only says whether it's on or off, or the Wi-Fi is on or off. That means that you have to modify settings using your smartphone or using the live view remote kit. That was something I wasn't happy about after purchasing, because I thought that's going to be annoying, but I've found that if I just keep the setting on 1080p at 60 frames per second, which is what I'm going to be using most of the time, then it's not an issue. And 99% of the time I'm always going to have my smartphone with me anyway. Now I've found that if you do want to modify settings, it's easier to do it with your smartphone because everything's on one page and you can quickly go through and change things without going through the screen on this. But I find it easier to just switch this on if I want to position if I want to position the camera and then see where everything is. I find it easier using this. And I also think the live view remote kit with the big red record button, it makes it easier to click start and click stop at the end when you've finished. One thing I did see online was that someone complained that the camera does not state how much memory is left. So for example, if I've got 5 GB left on this memory card, the camera or the live view remote kit won't tell me. So that can be annoying. I can understand why people are frustrated by this, because a lot of cameras will say something like you've got 30 minutes recording left at 1080p, you've got 45 minutes left recording at 720p. Gives you an idea of how much you can use. For me it's not a big issue, because what I'm going to be doing is taking the camera out, vlogging, and then when I'm finished I'll just connect the phone to my computer or connect it to my phone using Wi-Fi, copy the files over, and then once I'm finished just reformat the memory card, and that's it. So for me it's not going to be a big concern. One thing that could be a concern is battery life. Now I'm not 100% sure what the battery life is like as yet. After purchasing the camera I just started charging it up and started using it, but the man in the shop obviously he recommended depleting it and then using it. I've read different things online with what you should do, whether you should deplete it and charge it again, but I don't have a good idea of what the battery life is like as yet. But my suspicion is the battery life is not amazing. It does seem to charge quickly, but I do think that it does seem to deplete quickly as well. The battery life on the live view remote kit is considerably better. It's, this at the moment the camera's got 1 bar and this has got 3 bars, and they're charged at the same time. So the issue seems to be with the camera. What that means is, if battery life is an issue, I'll need to either take a power bank with me if I'm out and about, or I'm going to have to buy a replacement battery. I think most of the time though, I'll get a good 45 minutes of recording at least on a full charge, and for quick clips, walking around, that should hopefully be okay, because most of the time when I'm out and about, everything will be in one take. Now one of the big selling points about this is audio, and if you looked at the clips earlier, you would have noticed all the all the noise when I was walking about with the traffic around me, but you should have still been able to hear me. Now if you compare that to something like the GoPro, whenever I listen to the audio clips on YouTube, it seems the audio doesn't seem as good, whereas with the Sony Action Cams, the stereo microphones at the front seem to make a huge difference to the audio that's being picked up. So for me, if you want to do vlogging, the Sony Action Camera seems to be the best for audio. Is this the best vlogging camera? Probably not, but for me it's a great solution. The fisheye effect that you're seeing just now, like here is straight to me, but it's probably curved on video in the clip, and that's not always required. So for me, I'm hoping to buy a second camera for recording indoors, so either Canon G7X or perhaps the Sony RX100 Mark II or 3. I think those are 2 of the best vlogging cameras available that all the top experts recommend, and I've played around with the RX100 Mark II in the shop, and it really is small, but the Sony Action Camera AZ1 is so small and so portable. It really is a fantastic device. So if you're looking for a small vlogging device, I would recommend it, and I would recommend looking at other clips online as well from other people. For me, it's a great little device, but 2 cameras seems to be the best solution for me moving forward.
I'll use the AZ1 when I'm outside, I can record clips, and I'll use a better camera, you know, like the Sony RX100 when I'm inside. If you've got any questions about any of this, please do leave a comment below. I'll do my best to answer them. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this clip, please do subscribe. Thanks.